I literally just realised how we can't do this. Ah, bumps. Wanted to do 2 cameras for this, so I'm trying to use my phone, but then I realised just now that the notes that I have to talk about are on my phone, because of course they are. And so now I'm holding this, what do you want to call it, this tripod with my phone. And I quit my corporate job to see what happens when you bet on yourself. I've been in bands and played live shows all across Australia. I've coached and played ice hockey. I've been a gamer for as long as I can remember.
Oh look, he's like
I've tried vlogging.
We're not doing anything illegal.
I fell in love with cars. I let other people's opinions stop me from leaning into these things more. What you're watching is my journal of what's going to happen next.
Wait.
My name's Jaden, and welcome to A Drive to Thrive. So the start for A Drive to Thrive was I finished up my last day of work working at Hyundai Australia, and the very next day on a plane to New Zealand. It was the first time Rose had been back to New Zealand since she was a kid, which is where she grew up. And it's like she found a part of herself that maybe was dormant or had gone missing. It was really bizarre. She lit up and she just had a different, vibe. It was pretty insane, just like this rain. But being in New Zealand gave me, I guess, a new outlook and a new perspective on my wife. It's like I unlocked a new understanding of why she is the way she is, and being engrossed in the culture. So we flew directly from Perth to Auckland and then jumped immediately on the next flight to Christchurch, where we picked up our rental car and headed for Castle Hill to spend a few days in the snow. My daughter and I had never seen the snow before, so we were really excited as we woke up to frost in the morning and headed straight for the closest snowfield. Unfortunately, when we got there, the closest snowfield was actually closed, so we checked for the next nearest snowfield and headed there up this great big hill and track and spent the day in the snow. I tried snowboarding. I probably should have tried skiing given my ice hockey background, but stubbornness won. And look, put it this way, I could get down to the bottom of the slope by the end of the lesson. Yeah. Kinda. The next day, we went down to Christchurch, spent some time at a wildlife park. Rose got to see a capybara, which was pure joy. Like, she was so excited. We did not expect to see them. When we were in Christchurch, we were reminded quickly about the earthquakes that had literally leveled the city. And it was a reminder of just how fragile life can be and how quickly it can change. This rain seems to have come out of nowhere. When we were finished there, we headed to a beachside period home, which was beautiful, in a place called Kaikoura. I'm probably making a terrible pronunciation of that. But on the way, we learnt that our daughter gets car sick and we had to make a stop. I pulled off on a side road and it ended up being one of the best spots ever. We found this hidden gem called Te Papa Estate. We walked the grounds and we got to meet their hunting dogs, Ruby and Sapphire. They were just so adorable. It was just reminded that sometimes the unplanned stops are the best ones. We spent only one night in Kaikoura.
Wait.
Before we got up in the morning to head straight for the ferry, and from the South Island up to the north to Wellington. In Wellington, we rode the cable cars. We got to visit one of Rose's childhood homes. We spent hours in the museum. Normally I'd kind of rush through it, but we enjoyed it so much that we went back a second day and really took our time. From Wellington, we realised with our daughter's car sickness, it wasn't going to be a great idea to drive all the way to Rotorua, which was going to be our next stop. We actually stopped in a very small town called Ratihi. It's where part of Hunt for the Wilderpeople was filmed, and we kind of felt like we were in the film.
Ricky Baker. He is a baddie.
We were in this tiny little shack.
Is there anything you want me to do?
Yeah. Leave me alone.
In this tiny little town in the middle of nowhere.
You ever been up in that jungle before?
There's about 1 million hectares of it, buddy.
And it was really bizarre. We visited Dino House where Sam Neill does voiceovers, and it was odd but cool. It was crazies.
Say again?
It was crazies. Sam Neill did the voiceovers and worked with them when he was there filming for Hunt for the Wilderpeople, and that was awesome. From there, we went to a must-stop. Now, I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan by any means, but even if you know a little bit about the films, Hobbiton is a must-do stop. I won't go into the experience. There's probably many videos online where you can check it out, but we had just the best time, and it was wild to be on set where these films were made. So when we got to Rotorua, there was something about this place that just felt kind of special to me. I'm not quite sure what it was. This is where Rose's father grew up, and she spent a lot of time as a kid, and it was really awesome. Rose got to pet a lion cub, which she remembered doing as a kid, so being able to do that again as an adult was pretty cool. We also drank from a natural spring, and I'm not the most spiritual person, but
Alkaline, perfect.
finally, before we finished up in Rotorua, we got to go to Skyline Park. This is an action-adventure park with mountain bike trails and downhill luge. Our daughter went down with Rose first, and then the second time she went down with me, and she wanted to go down every single time thereafter, and she kept egging me on to go faster and faster, safely, of course. And I was so proud, and it was the best. As we finished up in Rotorua, we headed to Auckland, which was our final stop for the last 5 days. One of the pit stops we chose was Hampton Downs Motorsport Park. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even think anything would be open, but there was a cafe, and we came across Mad Mike's office and a bunch of his cars. Look, his McLaren P1 wasn't there, which, you know what, so what? But what was on display was phenomenal. Didn't expect it. Again, just a random stop that ended up being one of the best stops. Now, this trip wasn't about being tourists. When we flew to New Zealand, we made ourselves one promise. And that promise was to not think about work, no planning, no worrying about what happens next. It was to be present, just us, and just fully disconnect. And as difficult as it was, I'm pleased to say that we did it. Although there were times where I found myself wanting to plan for what this looks like, what comes next, Rose quickly reminded me to stop and said, tell me about it when we get home. By the time we flew home, I felt lighter, I felt more relaxed, more present and ready to create. So that's kind of where Drive to Thrive sits, not really as a brand, but more of a way of life for me, for my family, maybe even for you. And hopefully for anyone else that feels burnt out or tired of trying to fit in. My name's Jaden, and welcome to A Drive to Thrive.